Welcome to my channel. My name is Kate the Seventh, and I'll be your host today. There we go. Yo, what's up, bro?
How you doing?
Oh, sorry, bro, about that.
Yeah, no problem. Nope.
How you doing though?
I'm doing pretty good. We've had a pretty fun day on stream today. Got to go through multiple cancellations. I'm actually watching a one hour video on myself later. Yeah. So a lot of fun stuff scheduled. A lot of fun stuff we've already done. And I guess we're gonna have a fun conversation over here when it comes to Zenless Zone Zero.
I see. Someone said you said I'm stuck in Shiyu because of the HP inflation. Why I didn't answer?
Yeah. Is that true?
No, I was going for a 30-second speedrun.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because
it probably would have been 10 seconds if there wasn't so much HP.
Yeah, someone challenged me to do a minute 15 total for both sides. So I gotta get like 30 or 40 on the first side, and then another 30 on the second side.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I already knew this was gonna happen, man. As you remember my comment from YouTube, I already showed people. I said, hey, saying I'm one of the bigger CCs for ZZZ. Done almost 200 count reviews, and I've been helping free-to-play and low spenders every single week for months now on my streams and community. If you're down, I'm more than willing to have a chill combo with you on stream and give my honest opinion on this and talk about it like adults. Let me know if you're down, homie. So like, there's already like this comment kind of like spread a little bit, and there's so many people already like war. It's gonna be war. God damn it. Everybody just assumes it's gonna be extremely hostile, which I don't think it will.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people naturally assume, is that I'm going to get on call with somebody and then just start like yelling at them and stuff. But I think just based off of a lot of calls that I've had in the past with a lot of different people, that typically doesn't happen unless, they start saying some extraordinarily crazy shit. And yeah, I don't think it's happened very frequently, to be honest. So I think this was going to be super chill because, yeah, you reached out to me. We had like a conversation on Discord. We were just like, yeah, we're going to go over like some stuff, go through some reasoning. You already set the framing that it's pretty clear that a good part of ZZZ's community, or really whatever's left, is not very happy with me and the takes that I've been making. And yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that naturally, as like a content creator for a game, it's going to always be in your best interests to frame the game in the most positive light ever, even if like, negative things are actually happening to it. And I've just personally had the viewpoint that when it comes to ZZZ in particular, a lot of that has been happening, and I don't feel like for particularly the best reasons. And so I've watched a lot of videos that other creators have made regarding the issue, and the viewpoint that I've had across all of them is that most of them end up blaming the player. Most of them end up saying that, it's not the dev's fault. This is something that's super necessary. It had to be done. And if players can't deal with it, it's the player's fault. They need to start changing. They need to start doing all of this stuff different. And, there's not a lot of onus of that responsibility being placed on the devs at all. And of course, I've seen a lot of people saying it's not Miyabi's fault either. So yeah, that's just some of the framing. I know I've been yapping for a little bit, so let me know how you want this, like what you're thinking, how you want this to go.
Well, first, the thing is, so like the whole reason I even got brought here by someone in my community told me about the video you made on Flossin.
Yeah,
that's what prompted me to watch the video. They told me not to watch the video, actually. They told me it's a waste of time, but I decided, I was like, no, that's not fair. Let me watch it from beginning to end. And I was like halfway through, I was thinking to myself, I was like, I'm not a huge content creator, but I feel like if I could get on call and just chat with Saint, we could actually talk this out. But first, I got my friend OK Muzzy to send me the charts this morning.
Yeah.
Of 8 of the HP increase since the beginning. So like this is pure facts. You can't deny this part. So I'm just copying and pasting them in our call real quick.
Yeah, okay. Let me Let me get this link pulled up over here real fast.
Uh,
All right, this is a chart that one of your homies made, right?
No, he found it.
Okay. I've got my own chart as well.
And I can actually show this on stream. Give me 1 second. There we go. Okay, so here we go. So this is Shiyu Defense and Deadly Assault. Since the Deadly Assault is since January, Shiyu Defense is since July.
Gotcha. Oh,
so
see, this is the thing. My chat looks, or my chart actually looks better than this one. This chart looks way worse. Like I'm just the information that's on here. This chart looks way worse than the one that I have because my comparisons only start from version 1.4.
Yeah. But again, like I'm just showing you what my friend Muzzy found. He's also a content creator for the ZZZ space, and I was like, "Hey, bro, can you do me a favor? You find like some accurate charts for me because I trust his opinion and stuff on a lot of things. So." Because he's also a very good theory crafter, and these are the most accurate ones he could find, he said. So if we look at Shiyu Defense, since the beginning of the game, since July, the HP has increased by 101%. And if we look at Deadly Assault, since it first came out, the HP has increased by 27%.
That's a lot. I think one thing to keep in mind, right, is that I feel like the Deadly Assault increase, when we're talking about the percentages, I think at a good point, it's also fair to recognize the raw value too, because this is straight up a 52 million HP increase, 52 million, while in Shiyu Defense, it's only 14 million, right, relatively. So, when they have like a lot of base HP in the first place, like I feel like that's something we gotta factor and keep in mind as well, right? When it comes to percentages. So I feel like the Deadly Assault one actually feels like this 20% over here, it matters a lot more than maybe the 100 that we're seeing over here. Or maybe not matters more, but it like 27% on top of an already big number is still pretty significant.
Yeah, but genuinely, my raw honest opinion, I know this is an opinion that most people don't have. You'll mostly hear people say the opposite, but I think Shiyu Defense is harder than Deadly Assault by a good margin.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you completely.
A lot of people will say the opposite and say that Deadly Assault is harder. But when I look at the grand scheme of things, and after doing so many account reviews, and I already know, someone sent me a message because they saw the comment I sent on your YouTube channel. It's because I said I've done like 200 plus account reviews. They were like, "Oh wow, so you're just gonna like use this to debunk everything Saint says?" And I was like, "No. How did you get that?" I was just saying that, yeah, I help the community as much as I can. Like, but they assumed because I said 200 plus that I was gonna be like, "Oh, but you see, I've been on this many people's accounts, so I know this for a fact." It's like, no, I was just stating a fact.
Yeah, I think the only thing that you're proving so far, just by like getting on the call, and this is the first thing you want to show right off the bat, right? I think the only thing that you're proving is that you don't have like the level of bias, or like this is actually why I wanted to have the conversation in the first place, right? It's pretty clear you don't have like the level of like bias and stuff that a lot of people think that you will have, because that's the natural sort of thing that I feel like the ZZZ community has conditioned themselves to, that my claims need to be defended against, when in reality I'm literally just talking about the numbers.
Claims against what?
Like my claims of saying HP inflation is like real. It's a very big issue, especially when you think about the trajectory of other Hoyo games and what HP inflation has done to them. And yeah, I'm bringing like the facts, I'm bringing the numbers, we're bringing all the charts into that sort of conversation, and then drawing comparisons between the games.
Okay. But okay, I think I see what you're saying. But what I was trying to say though is, in my opinion, Deadly Assault's easier than Shiyu.
Yeah, I agree with you.
By a pretty significant margin. Most people will say Deadly Assault is harder, because of the whole getting 9 stars thing. But then I turned around a couple months ago. I asked my community, if you get all your polychrome, which is, the premium currency from ZZZ, if you get all your polychrome from Deadly Assault and Shield Defense, is that good enough? Are you happy? And with overwhelming 92% of people said yes. And getting all the polychrome in Deadly Assault is significantly easier than getting all the polychrome in Shiyu.
Absolutely.
Because you only need 2 stars. You either need to get 2 stars on each boss or 3 stars on 2 bosses. So it makes it significantly easier.
Or you do like a 3-2-1. I did that one time.
Yeah. You can do that. You can also do that. Like, as long as you're getting your 6 stars, you're good to go, and that's significantly easier, in my honest opinion, after playing on so many people's account and helping out so many low spin players. The whole thing, though, HP inflation is a problem. I think we can get into that next, right? Mm-hmm. So when we get into Shiyu Defense, when you first look at this graph, I'm not gonna lie, you just looking at it at a baseline, it does look bad, right? Like if you didn't have like prior like knowledge to the HP or anything regarding this, and you just blindly just came in and just saw this chart for the first time, seeing 101%, that probably does look really bad at when you first see it, right? So like you can't deny that, and I won't deny that. And also the chart shows the first anniversary, which is really cool. I didn't know. It's really cool he was able to get to the first anniversary too. We already have leaks on that.
That's when Yishuan is releasing, right?
Yeah. That's when Yishuan's coming. But genuinely, the first, I want to say, wait, I'm trying to really think. It was back when Yanagi came out. That was 1.3. Yeah. Okay, 1.3. So
between 1 November and 1 December, right? That's 1.3.
Can someone fact check that? I want to make sure. Yeah, because I got lighter in November. I know I got lighter in November. He was 1.3.
Yeah, that's where I see the first real big like uptick.
Yeah. So genuinely though, from helping people from 1.0 up until 1.3, ZZZ felt like a genuine cakewalk in Shiyu. Like when I tell you, you could use anything and it would crush Shiyu in under a minute 30. It would just crush it. Like, bro, you were seeing wacky Billy team comps getting under a minute clear, right?
Yep.
So I know that
I can totally see that aligning with the data, right? Because they actually decreased the HP from significantly below 1.0 levels. I'm seeing here between like September and October, and it still didn't even reach the levels of 1.0 until maybe like partway through version 1.2.
Yeah. But before 1.3 leading into 1.4, I just remember just never struggling on Shiyu. I was getting on people's accounts that had the most cooked builds. Like I'm talking, if I could give you like an example, because you play Wuthering, because you play ZZZ casual and play Wuthering as your main game. I play Wuthering casual and play ZZZ as my main game. So we're the opposite.
Yeah,
it's like getting on Wuthering back in the day with, what's the dude's name with the top hat? I forgot his name.
Yan-Wu?
Yeah, it's like getting on Wuthering with Yan-Wu and like making him like the main DPS, and he only has like 20 crit rate or some shit. Like that's how bad some of the builds were, but I was still able to clear.
Bro would clear.
Yeah, I was still able to clear. Like that's how easy Shiyu used to be. It used to be that fucking easy. Like you could just turn your brain off, and it didn't matter what you did. You could button mash to hell. You would clear with damn near anything as long as your character.
So that's what Pokey did when he was doing his blindfold Shiyu defense clears.
Yeah, it was so easy.
Gotcha.
Like people were getting so bored before 1.3, because 1.3 is when they also introduced the battle tower. People were getting
Yeah.
so bored pre 1.3, they were literally handicapping themselves in Shi on purpose. They were literally handicapping themselves. Like, I would see people pop into my chat and be like, bro, I barely cleared Shiyu this time. I was like, really? Who are you using, bro? Solo Billy. Oh. It's like, oh. And you still got it done? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. That's how easy the game used to be. So, and I wanted to preface that before I say my next thing, because I know what I'm about to say next is probably going to sound weird. But
yeah,
to a certain degree, the game did need to increase the HP to a certain degree, because people were just cakewalking through it. And there needed to be, it felt like there was genuinely no challenge at all. You didn't get to fight the boss's mechanics. The bosses in ZZZ do have mechanics, but before 1.3, you killed them so fast and so effortlessly, you never once got to even experience the mechanics. So like, to a certain degree, it did need to increase. But the question is, how much did it need to increase? Now that's the real question, right?
I totally agree with you there, right? When I'm looking at data over here and I can clearly see that the Shiyu defense, like, that's why I wanted to point out the fact that the HP went down from 1.0 very significantly, like we're seeing over here. Yeah, if you're doing a decrease from launch date HP, I look at the thing in 1.3, it is higher naturally, right? But you can also think about it like in terms of like progression of people's accounts. I don't think that there are a lot of like people running like double crit on like every single piece, getting like relatively decent usable builds. And then people were starting to get better builds. And then the HP of the Shiyu defense was also going down at the same time. And so I can see where the whole like super easy 1 minute clears is coming from. And then seeing it kind of like level out and increase gradually from 1.0's position after, right? After people are able to like build their characters more and then, you know, naturally fill out more compositions like Anomaly, that sort of stuff. It makes sense to me, right? I don't think it's that crazy of like a stretch for this to have happened. But your second point, right, of how much higher did it need to go from here, I do think is especially relevant. And yeah, maybe you have some words to share about that.
Okay, so I texted you yesterday, but I don't think you saw my message till super late, and I forgot to remind myself to tell you. But I have a video coming out today, and I wanted to make sure that you knew that this was pre-planned before this whole talk between me and you was gonna even happen. Because I was doing another account review, and I was on someone's account, and they were running Energy Regen Harumasa, like full ER. They had an ER weapon and an Energy Regen 6 slot. Like, homie had more energy than some support characters in this game. Like, and his attack was fucking abysmal, and his crit ratio was it was something, right? It was something. It was something. That's like putting Jinshi on pure ER and neglecting her offensive stats.
Doesn't Harumasa, I mean, I'm gonna be real here, I have no idea how Harumasa works, because I've never used him before. Does he have something that like gives him a bigger nuke or like increases his DPS the more he spams his skill or the more skill cast he gets?
No, his core skill buffs his crit rate on his dashes and his crit damage.
Okay,
but only on his dashes.
What does his skill do then?
What is his skill? His skill just gives him quivers. It's a jumping. Oh my bad. Excuse me. It's a jumping crossbow shot that gives him quivers, so he can do more dashes.
Okay. So it does. The more he's able to use his skill, the more damage he's able to do during, like, the more dashes he'll be able to do. So I mean, I can kind of view it as like a way to increase your overall damage. I'm thinking about running ER on Miyabi, right? Where you'll be able to spam her skill more and then get off more of like her 6 stack attacks. And so it's like, you know, it's better than like building defense.
Yeah, but you gotta understand in the grand scheme of things, because I did a run where I fixed his Haru, and gave him like the proper like offensive stats. And then I did a run because chat was like, now try the ER. And I did a run with the ER, and yeah, the score was quite a bit lower. obviously, because he was doing less damage. But I really only got like 2 extra skill casts, if I remember correctly. Like over a 3-minute fight, because it was in Deadly Assault. Over a 3-minute fight, getting 2 extra skill casts. That's the amount of damage you're losing from the missing offensive stats is nowhere near worth it, right?
Yeah.
But basically, I was gonna text you like, hey, I got this video coming out. And I want you to understand this is not target tweets. This was gonna happen before this whole call was gonna happen. But I was gonna title it quotations HP inflation. Nah, ER Haru got my back.
Because hey, no worries about that one. I don't even think you need to check in with me for that one. That I feel like that's just a funny joke.
Yeah, no, but I already know that I know the gacha community, bro. Especially in the space like the 2 spaces we're in, and I could already feel it. Like someone's gonna see this from Saint's community and be like, "Oh God, look, Saint, look, bro."
My chat and my community, I like to think that they typically have like a pretty decent sense of humor, and it'd be pretty easy for them to. I mean, this is the thing. I do that sort of like clickbait / I guess you could consider it rage bait very often in my own videos. And so I'd imagine they're like used to it at this point and wouldn't jump to conclusions. But who knows? That's just what I think.
Yeah, but I did the run, and after the first one, I was like, oh shit, yo, chat, this is fucking possible. Wait a minute. And I just did it a few more times, and we got the 3-star clear on the UCC, and this is the highest HP the UCC has ever been. And I was still able to do it with a really, really bad Haramasa. And I was like, HP inflation chat, yeah. Because I need to make this a video. It was really funny. But right now, and I already know what's going to lead up to this after what I'm about to say next. But right now, to a degree, still, if you're still able to get away with somewhat bad builds on your units and still get 3-star, still get S rank clears. Like, oh my God, bro. One account the other day, I shit you not, I had to play, who was it, chat? Who was it? Was it Jian? Yeah, it was Jian. You know Jian?
Yeah.
It was Jian.
Badass.
She had 99 crit damage, homie, with like abysmal attack, and I had to play that in Shiyu, and I still cleared. And it was against a non-ether weak enemy on Shiyu 7. So like right now, you're still able to use somewhat bad builds and still get the job done. But I already know that's going to lead to now I can already tell it's going to lead to the question of, but if they keep increasing the HP, is it going to eventually get to a point where you have to have the most optimal builds, you have to have the most optimal teams?
I guess this is the thing, right? I think there are a lot more factors going into the clear that might be helpful to mention, right? So let's be honest here. And I mean this in no way as like a slight to you. You play this game, essentially, you play this game as a job.
I'm gonna let you continue. My bad for cutting you off. I apologize. I already knew you were gonna say that, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah,
I knew you were gonna say that.
So that's the thing, right? You and I, we both play our respective games as a job, right? And a lot of the people that are going to be coming in, I know there's been a lot of talk about the whole like casual versus like, oh, endgame should only be able to be cleared by the most like dedicated players, that sort of thing. But the way that the endgame is, I think, structured from the perspective of ZZZ and really just Hoyoverse games in general, is that the endgame becomes really, really, really easy to do if you have the newest on-character units. And it can easily be done by people that are like casual or just one step above casual, in my opinion, if they have the newest units and the newest disk drives, all of that stuff, and they can have like mid dog shit builds. The newest characters just make it a lot easier. And that's because they just naturally, inherently, right? All their motion values are higher. All their buffs are better. They either apply their anomalies faster or they have like better anomalies in general. And it just makes it to the point where having all the newest stuff means that there's way less skill investment involved. And naturally, the better you are at the game, which, you know, I assume that you're pretty decent at ZZZ if you're clearing with like ER Harumasas and like Juyens with 99% crit damage. you're somebody that's able to like really work with some dog shit investment and still get the clear. And I think that using that example as like, oh, I'm still able to clear when I'm somebody that's like a professional, basically a working professional at this game, is, you know, when you take that sort of framing and you compare it to somebody that is, and let's be honest here, playing this game to have fun and not playing this game to like have a paycheck and be paid to be good at it and be paid to be able to clear, I think it's a really big like sort of one-to-one thing, especially in a game that's inherently casual, played on mobile, played on phones, meant to reach a wide audience like ZZZ. And you can apply the same thing to like HSR and Genshin Impact.
I hear you. But I will also say, had those players who had the scuffed builds, right? Like the 99 crit damage, and after I cleared with her, I ended up fixing her build where she actually had, you know, proper offensive stats. Yeah. And I always tell my people, this is just a staple for my account reviews, I always tell people that I have to help. Next time you clear in-game, tell me how it went. Like, it's just become a staple for my community. Like, tell me how it went. You can send me a screenshot. You can tell me if you're struggling with this. You can DM me. And there was really only one time that I can vividly remember where someone, when they did the follow-up with me, said that they were still struggling. Almost everybody else said it became significantly easier after I helped, and that they were able to do it on their own now.
I would hope,
right? So
I hope,
you know.
Otherwise, you're reviewing the accounts of some dumb people.
Yeah, but anyways, once they got their builds and I even crazy investment, because I don't know how do you go about it in Wuthering Waves for when you look at how good, do y'all use subs too? Like, we go off of subs on gear.
We usually go off of like crit ratios and damage percents. But yeah, subs fall into that as well. Usually like the baseline stat menu is enough, and then you look into the subs to see, you know, where the issue is.
Yes, yeah. So mostly we go off of subs when we're evaluating the character, because a lot of people will overvalue crit ratios or overvalue anomaly proficiency for our anomaly units,
or like undervalue attack and like flat attack.
Yeah, stuff like that. So I tell my community, like, stop just looking at crit only, stop just looking at AP only. Like, you gotta look at other stuff too in your substats. And I don't even get crazy builds, because like the bare minimum for a character, in my opinion, and in ZZZ, I don't know the number for Wuthering, because I told you I'm very casual in Wuthering, is 20 subs, which is very easy to get. 20 subs is very, very easy to get. And usually I, on average, end with helping people getting their builds to around 25 to 28 subs, something like that. Over 30 is pretty good, and 40 is insane. Like 40 is insane. But most people are not going to have 40, and a lot of people don't have over 30. So it hovers between that 20 and 30 mark. And once their builds go from 10 subs, or even I saw one time someone had 6 subs. I was like, brother, have you even fought? You had this character for 4 months. But like, once I finally get their builds over 20 subs, it's amazing how changing a build helps so much in clearing. It's amazing. A lot of it, most of the time, it's not even skill issue. A lot of times it's build issue when I'm reviewing accounts.
Yeah, no, totally, right. I've had a lot of account reviews that I've done in the past where, you know, some people say that they can't clear the various end game modes, and I go in and like their crit damage is 6%, or it's 12% higher than the baseline one. Yeah, I've had builds before where it's like I think somebody had a 1%, or they had one roll of crit damage across their entire build, and then like high crit rate and stuff on the side. So it was just like one of the most disastrous things that I've like ever seen. We still ended up clearing with that account, just because the characters were like maxed out and everything with their skills. And so, yeah, I totally get the whole perspective of like having like at least a minimum level of investment to be able to clear. But I would say, if we're thinking about it from like having the sweatiest gameplay ever and having the crispest rotations, and basically playing the game at a really high level, I think it's pretty fair to say that, at least from what I've seen, and especially considering the HP inflation that both games have had, I feel like the minimum investment in ZZZ is typically going to be a fair bit higher than it is in Wuthering Waves to get the full premium currency clear.
You said both games, so how's Wuthering Waves? You have charts for Wuthering Waves HP too?
I think that people have done like I don't have any exact data for the Wuthering Waves charts because I guess this is the thing. Nobody's bothered to like compile HP and its growth in WoWA because it's never been an issue that's top of mind for people. Right? Because it's like, why would anybody want to track this when it's never been a concern? And like the difficulty has never felt overgeared.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the point of view that I have on it. And nobody has ever, I'm going to be honest, I don't think anyone has ever really talked about it before. Kaiser has it? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, maybe one of my mods will send me over some data on the Wuthering Waves HP. Okay, yeah, his is not accurate, so it's not complete. Yeah, this is the thing. It's like we haven't ever had like a big issue with HP going up. There are never ever typically complaints about Wuthering Waves' endgame and like it being too hard to clear, it being too ridiculous to clear. The only time we've had a complaint about an endgame mode was Whimpering Waste, our like AoE version.
Yeah,
and that one got like fixed in like a week. So yeah, that's the only time people have actually complained about the endgame.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when Whimpering Waste came out for the first time.
Yeah, it's like that second reset was ridiculous. Oh, they also nerfed a boss to make them attack less, but they didn't change the HP of it.
Okay. But I'm sorry, I went on to this Wuthering Waves thing. Where were we at?
Yeah, I guess we were talking about like minimum investments and like substats
you're right.
required to clear. I feel like in ZZZ, especially with how the HP has grown, it's decently higher than it is in Wuthering Waves. I don't think I have like a mathematical number on it.
Okay. Because I know that a lot of people shit on Ellen Joe, the first limited character in ZZZ. You hear so many bad things about Ellen nowadays,
especially after 1.4.
She catches so many strays, and she's catching even more strays now because Hugo's coming out in 2 days.
Yeah,
and the thing is, Ellen Joe, so my friend OK Mosey, I brought him up earlier. He's the one who sent the charts to me this morning. He is amazing person, and he created a Zone Zero calculator that he made from scratch that anyone can use, that he made it extremely accessible. Like you don't have to be a rocket science to use it. You literally just go into it, put your character, you put what you have on them, you type in your drive disk, and then it literally shows you your DPS, because you can even put your rotations to a T. You can type in your rotations to an exact T, and whatever you tell it, and you obviously you have to put it against a boss, a specific boss. It will tell you the exact HP. I mean, not HP. Average DPS you can expect from your team, your investment, and against a specific boss. He is a genius for coming up with that.
You got a link to that thing?
Yeah, I got you. It's gonna be on his channel. Let me go to his channel real quick.
How do you spell his name?
OK Muzzy, OKMUZZY. Let me find the video. It'll be calculator. I can just search for it. Here it is.
It's finally here. I started working on this, I think like around the 1.6.
Can we pause? Pause, please. Oh, my YouTube is. What is going on?
It's finally.
There we go. Let me switch screens here. All right. Come down here. He should have the link. There it is. Copy link. Did I just copy the wrong link? Is that the right link?
That looks like one of the longest links in gacha gaming.
Yeah, I don't think that's the right one.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Let me just pull it up. Yeah, there we go. Now I can just copy this. There we go. Let me delete the other one.
There we go.
There you
Okay,
go.
that's a
There
lot.
you go.
That's a lot better. Okay, it's just a Google Docs link.
Mm-hmm. And you have to make your own copy.
Mm-hmm.
So go to File and then make your own copy.
I think I can just check it out from here. I don't think I need to input anything.
Yeah, you don't have to. But yeah, it's a great tool.
Wait, this actually looks really good.
It is. It's very good. I tell you, like, when I tell you he worked his ass off on this, like he busted his ass on this, and he updates it by himself every single patch, and it's extremely accurate. Because I did a collab with him on stream just to show how accurate it was. We put in one of my teams, and it showed the DPS, and I said, okay, let's take this to the end game. I took it to the end game, and it was like 98% accurate, bro. It was so accurate. Like he did a damn good job.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I'm like looking at this right now, and it feels I've taken a look at some like other sheets that some other TCs have made when it comes to this game, and this probably has to be one of the best ones I've ever seen.
So the other day I was in a call with him because this is what's crazy is like this is before I even saw your video and we planned to have this talk. I was just in a call with him because I saw other people talking about HP inflation, and I said, Muzzy, can you walk me through? He shared his screen on Discord. I said, can you walk me through a typical Ellen team? And let's be completely fair. Let's use a free-to-play accessible engine, so not her signature. Let's use very accessible supports for her, and let's use an average build, like something that I would typically give someone from an account review. So like around 25 to 28 subs, right? And as much shit as Ellen gets nowadays, she was still like from the DPS that we got, even if you weren't playing that well, because you can edit your rotations on here. So we did one where you played like damn near perfectly on a rotation. And then we did another one where like you only did like half of that shit. Let's say you just weren't as good at the game and you only did like half of that shit. Even on the one where you weren't doing that great, she still had enough damage to clear. For the last Shiyu. We haven't done the one on this one, but she still had enough damage. And she's one of the most shitted on agents in the game right now.
Yeah, I guess the thing is that I hope she has enough damage. Like, if you're at the point where a limited character is not able to legitimately clear the content, even with a free-to-play engine, within the time limit, right? That is kind of ridiculous. Though, who knows what's going to happen when it goes up another 4.6 million in, I guess, apparently on the anniversary. Maybe, I heard she's getting some buffs, though. Maybe what they did was the devs looked at the calculator, and they saw, damn, Ellen, E0 Ellen with a free W engine isn't able to clear this Shiyu. Maybe we gotta buff her a little bit. And maybe that's maybe they use the calculator and that's why she's getting a buff in 2.0.
I can't speak on why she's getting a buff or not, but my whole point really is you have to hit really bottom of the barrel in terms of your builds and teams for you to not be able to clear right now in ZZZ. Yes, the HP is still going up, but they release, I know this is one of the things you told me in DMs because I'm about to say this, but they have very, very good buffs in Shiyu Defense and Deadly Assault most of the time that help hit that HP threshold a lot easier. And I know that's one of the things you said you didn't like, buffs that shill out the new characters. At least that's what I think you said. Let me make sure.
I think it's a combo of two things. You'll have buffs that clearly shill the newer characters, and the newer characters all just do more damage than the previous ones. It's like a two-hit combo in my opinion. Where I think isn't it pretty indisputable that like Silver Anby does more damage than Ellen?
Yeah, you can't deny that.
Yeah, right. And so naturally, assuming that there's no elemental weakness being factored in, Silver Ambi is going to need way less investment, both on the skill and the disk drive side and the rotation side to clear than Ellen.
But remember, every new DPS that's come out after Miyabi, so Evelyn, Sambi, and now Hugo in 2 days, all three of them don't do as much damage as Miyabi.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. They all don't do as much damage as Miyabi. If they did, I think that the game would be completely, utterly fucked. Just wait until their support comes out. That's a Void Hunter, and then they'll do as much damage as Miyabi. I guess it's just like, the way that I view it is just, I know they don't necessarily do as much as her, but it's fair to say that they're all releasing as different elements. You have Evelyn as fire, you have Hugo as, I guess, the non-anomaly ice, and then you have Silver Ambi coming in as electric. That's going to basically cover or start. Just wait until the physical DPS comes out, right? That's going to raise the damage ceiling there compared to all the other prior ones. Nekomata, like just go fuck yourself, that sort of thing. It's clear that every single element and every single damage type is getting the damage ceiling raised. And that means that all of these other units that you have before, they're going to start getting left behind by these new damage ceilings. And I mean, let's be honest here, right? The HP is still going up. If, you know, this whole 4 million thing that we're seeing on here is actually happening, then that's another 4 million HP that people are going to have to factor into the clears. And it's just a matter of like, yes, right? I feel like the argument that I've heard a lot is just that, yeah, with the best rotations ever and with a lot of practice, you'll be able to clear this content with the older units. I get it, right? But I think a lot of people, they're not trying to play this game like a job. They don't want to have to practice for like 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to go clear a game mode that is supposed to take them, let's be honest here, right? 2 minutes and 30 seconds at maximum for a Shiyu defense side. And when the only way to not have to play that much or invest that much time, the only way to do it is to like pull the newest units, that's what I think is problematic. Because, like we just covered, right? Even with the calculator and all that stuff, you just have to do less, invest less, grind less, practice less, have less good rotations if you just pull the newest units.
I don't know if I can fully agree with everything you just said. So here's my friend. He's a good friend of mine. He's very nice to chat with on Discord. He's a Nekomata main, right here. I'm showing on my stream. He's a Nekomata main. And yes, I will go ahead and say he does have an M2 Neko, but M2 for Neko only gives her more energy. So it's really hard to calc how much of an increase that is. People say it's usually like 3-4% technically. And M1 is actually a pretty good increase in damage. So it is more than an M0, but he only has one limited support on his team, and the other support is Nicole, and she's free, and he just got a 48-second clear. He's getting 50k on Deadly Assault, like, and even if his Neko was M0, that would still be like at best like a minute 5-second clear, maybe something around that, right? I don't know the exact number it'd be, but even if his Neko wasn't M2, it would still be well below the 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So when you said that you if you play extremely well,
how much does that friend play the game? I'm just wondering, like, how much, like, do you Jack generally know how often he plays it, for how long?
I think he told me he obviously plays every day because he does his dailies, like you do your dailies and stuff. But he said he only grinds out like speed runs and high scores only a few times a week because he has a IRL job that's very demanding. But my whole point is when you said that if you play extremely well and like have very good rotations and stuff, you will be able to clear. No, in my opinion, you crush the content. Like, that's actually been proven with every single character. Like, you can name any character and I can show you a clear it's not whaled. It's not a whaled out team. It's a very reasonable team that most players can potentially get if they wanted to play that character. and they're crushing the content. They're clearing it under a minute 30. And if you clear under a minute 30 in Shiyu defense, in my opinion, that's very good because the recommended time is 2:30. So I think if you're doing under a minute 30, you're crushing the content.
You want to know another time in another Hoyo game where people were crushing the content?
Yeah, I already know. I saw this coming. I know, Saint. I know.
You remember HSR and then it's 0 1 cycle clears?
I know.
And how that started getting normalized across the player base. People were saying, oh, I can still 0 cycle. I can still 1 cycle clear. Surely the power creep and the HP inflation isn't that bad. And now look where we are about 6 months later after all of that troubling dialogue. And this is the thing, right? That's why I always talk about these other Hoyo games whenever I'm trying to talk about ZZZ's HP inflation. Guess what, right? You can play Giga Sweaty in HSR. You can clear with some of the older units. That's not the norm, though. And you can clearly see that a majority of these games, people like being able to complete the endgame as a whole. And the more that you keep raising the barrier and raising the ceiling for the amount of investment required, be it either skill, rotations, sweat, all that stuff, substats, rosters, additions to the roster, all of that, the less accessible it becomes and the more people are just going to start complaining. And the more defense that there is for a developer doing this, we saw it happen in Genshin. We saw it happen in HSR. So many people were defending HSR and its HP inflation tooth and nail. Right? Oh, it's not really that good that I can 0 cycle with my super sweaty teams. HP inflation's actually good. Now the game is fucking unplayable. It's legitimately just not playable unless you pull the newest units because they all do way much more damage than the last. And when ZZZ's doing the same thing, they're releasing new units that just straight up do more damage than every prior release, have better buffs and supporting abilities and like shred, like debuffs on the enemies than every other release. And people are going in and they're using the defense of, oh, I can still crush the content and clear super fast. So HP inflation's like, okay, it's good because I can just, you know, like that means that I won't be able to clear as fast anymore because I'm like a top 1%, top 2% player. It's the same exact trajectory that HSR went down on when the game got ruined. And I think this is the thing. It's very easy to see the parallels. We already have, you know, there's always an adage that like history repeats itself. And I think this is doubly as relevant to say that history repeats itself because it's a game, gacha game, by the same company, under the same umbrella, the same publisher. And we're using the same exact defense. We're saying the same exact things to combat criticism of HP inflation that HSR players did.
Oh, you're good? Okay. I was letting you finish. My bad. I didn't know you're done.
Yeah, I'll go.
It's really more so. I'm trying to get my words. I'm very bad with words because I don't want to come off as, like I told you, I want it to just be a very chill conversation. The ZZZ devs have come out multiple times, though. That's exactly why Ellen's getting a buff, and there's going to be other people following suit. I don't know who the next agents who will get one, but they've already come out and said that they know that this can become a problem. That they know that if it goes what's the word? Is that the word? Unmanaged? No, not.
Unmitigated, uncontrolled.
Something like that, right? Unchecked. Yeah. If it goes unchecked, it absolutely can become a problem. Because okay, let's keep it real right now between me and you, Saint. Let's keep it real. You should never say never in any of these gacha games. It doesn't matter if it's Wuthering Waves, doesn't matter if it's ZZZ, HSR, Genshin, Ananta, what's another new game coming out? Azure Pamelia. You should never say never, right? Anything can happen and at any time to make the ship fail. Even Wuthering Waves. Like, I know Wuthering Waves gets praised all the time because the devs are, you know, very kind is what a lot of the community tells me. I do play. I am very casual. I promise. I lost my 50-50 on Zani and I'm pissed off and I don't know if I want to spend money for it or not. But anything can happen in any of these gacha games. You should never say never. But the thing for me right now is the fact that it wasn't just one time. It was multiple times now that the devs have come out and said that they understand that if this goes unchecked, it can absolutely become a problem. That's why I have a lot more faith in the ZZ devs than, say, the HSR. And I know you said Hoyo games. Well, I just recently started playing Genshin Impact again. I don't plan on playing it hardcore ever again, but I have started playing it again, and I am enjoying my time. For now, I don't know how long I will.
Oh, just don't do the spot. Just don't do the end game then.
I already did, and I was still able to clear with my old units.
When did you last quit?
I quit back in the end of Sumeru. Now I will admit I did log back on to just quickly grab Nouvelette and Farina, but I didn't use Nouvelette for this last spiral abyss because the top half was really bad for him. It was like, actually, you couldn't use him top half because the first enemy was literally Hydro resistant. Like, couldn't use him.
You just went in with C0 3.0 units and you just cleared this.
No, my Hu Tao was C1 and I have a C1 Yalan. I used my Xingqiu is very well built. I will admit that I don't have an average Xingqiu. My Xingqiu is like utterly fucking cracked compared to like the average player. I will absolutely say that a lot of my characters are well above average in terms of build, and I do have a few constellations, so I'm not gonna pretend like it was all C0. It was all, but I was still able to clear. And like, I know a lot of people were telling me recently that, oh, even if you have like high investment on old characters, you just wouldn't be able to do it that easily. And I walked in there and I was still able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, they just only inflated the HP like 100% since like version 4 point something.
I see. I don't know anything about Genshin's HP because like I don't look at Genshin for like guides anymore. I don't look at Genshin for like in-game stuff. I was just like, you know what? I feel like playing Genshin again. There's this new character on banner. I call her Coffee because I don't know how to pronounce her name properly. It's like Escoffier. Is that how you pronounce it? Escoffier?
Yeah, she's Gooterbait.
Yeah. I still don't know how to pronounce her properly, so I just say Coffee Girl. So I got on and I got her because they said she'd be good with my Ayaka, so I used her with my Ayaka. And yeah, I'm just enjoying my time. I don't know anything about. I'm not gonna pretend like I know anything about the HP inflation and Genshin because I genuinely don't. I haven't saw anything. I don't look at Genshin content anymore.
Yeah. Just as like a bit of like a thought on like Escoffier, she's pretty broken. Coffee Girl, she's pretty broken. Like straight up, one of like the best buffers in the game. Basically has like the budget of the recent releases that have all warranted. I guess it's actually like a good way to like bring the conversation back to ZZZ. So the way that Genshin Impact has been like power creeping or HP inflating is that they started releasing a bunch of these characters that have been absolutely fucking bonkers in terms of the buffs that they have, the damage that they deal, the elements that they apply. And the end result is that the game has become like a joke for a large portion of the population that pulled those units. And when people don't have content to actually use their units on, they get a little bit upset, right? They get a little bit mad at the devs for not giving them an opportunity to like use all their newest shiny stuff. And a big selling point of those units is how insanely broken they are and the numbers that they deal. And so the devs go ahead, people are getting upset because the content's too easy with the new units, and they have to increase the HP to account for that. And I guess this is the whole idea with ZZZ, is that I understand that the devs have communicated all of this stuff about, fixing the game, how it's going to be an issue, how it's unmitigated. That doesn't change the fact that there's a track record and a history of how HP inflation has ruined these games. And they still decided to release characters that just do way more damage than everybody else.
Okay,
right?
so
they're definitely gonna buff characters, right, to make them stronger. But like, why in the first place? We have to put a lot of emphasis on the fact that they're releasing these characters that just deal way more damage in the first place. Miyabi didn't need to do what she did. Acheron didn't need to do what she did. Mavuika didn't need to do what she did. All three of those units did not need to be that strong, but the devs decided to do it. And the end result is that every single endgame across these games have directly scaled upwards. And sure, they might be providing buffs, they might be reworking some of the units, but you wouldn't have really had to have done that and forced so many rosters to play catch up, just waiting for the day that the buff is gonna hit. It could be 2 months from now. It could be like HSR, where they announced that they're gonna buff units in fucking 3.0. They announced that they were gonna buff units in HSR in January, and the buffs aren't hitting until fucking June or July. There is a 6-month lag time between their announcement in HSR and the buffs that they're actually providing. And frankly, right, who knows how fast it's going to be for ZZZ to buff Billy and make him usable.
He is still usable though. My friend R2, I'm glad you bring that up. That's actually like crazy timing. My friend R2, he just got
usable in the hands of somebody that's like, again, not playing the game a lot. Like I can pick him up and like in an hour of practice I can go clear the Shio if he's fully built. I probably can't do that, right? I'm gonna have to practice a lot to do that. Because I guess the thing is, you're bringing in a lot of like individual examples of people that are like mains of these units, and this is the thing, right? In Wuwa, there are a lot of mains of units, like Dan Jin mains or Rover mains, that are going in and soloing the content. I never use those people doing that as like a basis for the norm. And I guess the thing is, we're talking about these top 1% players, these individual players, when that's like, they're not representative of like the general population at all.
Okay. So if it came off that way to you, then I'm sorry. Because I don't believe in that either. Because I also do the same thing on stream and shut people down when they say, oh, well, for example, I gave you Gil earlier, right? When people say, oh, Gil got a 50-second clear, so Neko is this good, it's like, no, Gil's actually like really fucking good at the game. If you're more casual, you're probably gonna be closer to like over a minute 30, maybe 2 minutes if you do the same team. So like I never wanted you to ever expect like I believe that, like, but I was just giving you example, like, if you do put in the if you do put in the time and like you don't have to practice him every single day for multiple hours a day. If you do give him a good build, you give him a solid enough team, a good thing his best support is a free to play support in Nicole, so everybody has her. You can absolutely clear with Billy. You have 2 minutes and 30 seconds. You might not get the minute and 3 second clear that R2 got, but you absolutely can clear. That's my whole point. Because I do understand that, right? Like if you are just someone who's way better at the game, then yeah, right? Like you can't compare my friend Yoji, who's a very well-known ZZZ speedrunner in the community. You can't compare his Haramasa clears to the average player. That's insanity. This man's getting like sub 40 Haramasa speedrun clears every single Shiyu. That's insanity to expect an average player to replicate that, right? But,
absolutely, yeah.
But if they just learn his mechanics, like just like the base way to play him, and they get just a decent team for him, and a good thing, again, one of his best free to play supports is Nicole, you absolutely can clear more than comfortably with him. You absolutely can. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I understand. The clearing can still occur. I don't think that there are probably any teams in the game where it's not possible for you to clear anymore, right? Assuming that you do some sort of baseline minimum. I think the thing really just is that it's not necessarily like an individual instance sort of thing. It's just looking at literally like the ecosystem of the end game and what is literally going on, what is literally happening. The thing is, it's a troubling pattern that we've seen across all of these games. A very, very, very troubling pattern. And when we're in a situation where we've seen history repeat itself multiple times. And, you know, not Wuthering Waves, ZZZ is falling down the same exact route. I'm going to be real here. We can say it's not a problem because I can still clear. People said that for HSR. It's not a problem because I can still zero cycle. There's actually footage of somebody with a giga crazy build on Sela and like 4-star units. They practiced it 10 million times, but they were able to zero cycle with an E0 free light cone Sela. And people are starting to use that as like evidence or proof that there's still no actual HP inflation, or that HP inflation isn't a problem in HSR, even though thousands, millions of people have probably quit the game because of those exact issues. And the thing is just that the more that we go in and we say these numbers going up isn't that big of a deal because I can still clear, the more room, the more runway we're giving these devs to like continue sort of like dragging us around for even more potentially destructive stuff in the future. Because it started, and just looking at the charts, right, it started and it just hasn't stopped. Like, this is a crazy trajectory line that we have going on over here with the charts that you showed me today. And it's just like, I understand people can still clear. It's about pointing out the warning signs in advance so that this game doesn't end up in a state where it becomes HSR, where the characters literally can't clear. And this is the thing. We always talk about clearing with 1.0 units when it comes to HSR. There's a reason why Mr. Pokey, when I had the conversation with him about power creep, outright refused to run any team comp that only consisted of 1.0 units. He would not do it. He insisted that every single team comp that featured a 1.0 DPS had to feature a a support or some sort of other damage amplifier from 2.0. And when we're going ahead, right, this is what I personally view ZZZ as. It has accelerated the power creep significantly, to the point where Astra Yao is, in my opinion, a 2.0 HSR character. Like a 2.x HSR support. Miyabi is like a 2.x Honkai Star Rail DPS. And Evelyn, Hugo, what's her name, Silver Ambi, they're all Trigger too. They're all 2.x characters. They're the 2.x characters of ZZZ. And the thing is, the more the HP inflation increases, I want to start seeing, I'd love to see some of the efforts being done right now with 1.0 only rosters. I feel like it's not going to be looking very good for those. So instead of like Astra Yao, Nicole, and Nekomata team, what does the Lucy, Nicole, Nekomata team look like? I feel like it's not as good, right? I feel like it's a bit rougher to clear with that one. And the thing is, if you start using the whole, I still pulled the newest support, or I pulled one of the newest units, and now they're letting my 1.0 character still clear, that's problematic. That's kind of like, that's the issue with HSR right now, is you can still clear with the 1.0 HSR characters as long as you have the 2.0 units, or I guess the 3.0 units now. People don't like that. People think that's annoying. People think that's terrible and painful to deal with. And the thing is that I don't know how those teams are going to fare, especially when 2.0 comes around. Maybe if you're the Giga Sweat of the Giga Sweat, you'll still be able to clear with only 1.0 units. Maybe not.
Okay, I got two things. I was listening to everything you said. I got two things. One, in your opinion, do you think that ZZ being execution based and Honkai Star Rail being turn based doesn't make is not a big difference?
I think that HP inflation, once it gets high enough, it will the difference won't really matter too much. Because there will certainly just be a point where the characters won't be able to deal enough damage unless they're being played at like relatively close to perfectly.
So even if you have more control over your characters than Honkai Star Rail, it won't make a difference in your opinion?
Well, this is the thing, right? Execution does have a pretty big role to play, But if characters are literally dealing 20, 30, 40% more damage than others, or I guess in Miyabi's case, like 100% more than others, there's only so much that execution can play when it comes to the conversation.
Okay.
I think that if you're able to manage it to the point, like let's just say over here, if Miyabi was 20% higher DPS than Ellen, I don't think we'd be having this conversation. I really don't think we'd be having this conversation, but she's close to like a 100 plus or more, right?
She's almost twice as strong. Almost.
She's almost twice as strong, so she's like 90 something percent stronger.
Yeah, it's probably closer to 80, but we can say 90. But I don't know how much I can agree with that, because I don't know, and I know I get it, right? Because this is my job, and this actually is my job now. This is my full-time job now.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, I appreciate it, bro. Thank you. But when I'll give you the most extreme example. I was on someone's account named Giant Wolf, and I looked at his clears, and he was like 10 seconds off from clearing S ranking Shiyu 7, right? Because you get 5 minutes, and he did it in like 5 minutes and 10 seconds. I used the exact same teams with the exact same builds, and I saved a minute 40.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, and that's just because I executed. I know I play the game all the time. I know that I'll do this a lot. But if Giant Wolf just played slightly better, he would have his builds weren't the problem, right? If he would just play slightly better, he would have easily cleared, because his builds were not the issue at all. Like, saving a minute 40 is a lot. I don't think we can deny that. Saving a minute 40 with the exact same builds is a lot.
True.
So I don't know if I can agree that execution doesn't make a big difference between HSR and ZZZ.
Well, I guess this is the thing, right? HSR, execution can still matter as well, to a degree, right? Like, you can just straight up use your blast skill on, like, the corner of an enemy. You can completely miss your ultimate and use it on the wrong enemy as well. You can, you could play it on auto instead of playing it on manual, and then end up, in the situation where you, like, actually skill issue yourself in HSR. And so, I mean, that's why I'm saying the execution isn't like that crazy of a thing, because the same exact argument you made for ZZZ and HSR, how there's like execution matters. You can take a team that 5 cycle clears in HSR and then make it clear in 10 cycles or like 8 or 9 cycles by playing it like shit. So there's like, it can still happen in both games.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's like, I guess the thing is like there's still like a theoretical amount of damage that's going to be in there. And when you see HP going up to this troubling of a degree, that's just the thing, right? I think we're kind of like getting stonewalled on this idea of I can still clear. We're still clearing with like X amount of time left, so the HP inflation is not a big deal.
No.
But the fact of the matter is that it's just been going up. It's becoming a problem for a lot of people currently. And the things that people are saying to those that are having issues is kind of like what I'm viewing as like toxic positivity. You have a lot of people, right? Let's just be honest here. You have people that were clearing in, let's just say, November 1st to like January 1st, looking at the Shiyu defense HP charts. You had people clearing with like 2 minutes 20 seconds each side on November to January, and they can't clear anymore because of the HP inflation. That's just objectively true, right?
Wait,
there's probably a sizable part of the population that used to be able to clear that no longer can clear.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you go back? I lost the middle of that. You said January. Wait, what?
Yeah. So looking at the chart from like the 1st of November to 1st of January, looking at the HP inflation chart in Shiyu defense, there's probably a lot of people that were able to clear during that span of time that can no longer clear anymore because the HP has gone up so much.
You're saying a lot of people, like, do you like, is your chat telling you that? Like,
no, I'm saying there's likely a fair number of people that used to be able to clear during that time that can't clear it anymore because of the HP inflation.
Okay, so we're assuming. I'm trying to understand. Like, you're saying like
I'm pretty sure we can look at like data from websites that have like clear rates and they've all like gone down.
We're not using Prywin, are we?
I guess this is the thing that works, or I guess this is the thing. I think that there's probably undeniable at this point. I'm not like getting into numbers specifically on purpose. I think it's pretty undeniable that if there were people that were like there are people that were clearing when the Shiyu defense was lower HP. They were taking like 2 minutes 30 seconds on each side, barely hitting the 5-minute mark and then clearing. And so if the HP went up, then those people that were at the 230 mark, they're no longer able to clear anymore. They'll exceed 230 and then get 2-star clears or 2-star clears from here on out, or like 8 clears.
Okay, so
based off the HP going up.
Okay, so you're saying, okay, I think I see. So you're saying people who were barely clearing last patch are no longer clearing this patch. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's the assumption that's being made over here because the HP is going up. You know, because the HP is going up and the enemies are taking longer to kill.
Okay.
So yeah, using that sort of assumption, right? That again, 1st of November to the 1st of January, there's likely a fair number of people that were on the cusp of not clearing, or they were like barely clearing, or maybe they were like 30 seconds away from an A rank. The HP starts going up, their character builds stay the same, and they're like, okay, like I don't really like that the game has now shifted. I've done nothing wrong as a player, but now I'm not able to get my S rank clears anymore. And the response by the community has overwhelmingly just been skill issue. Stop being dog shit at the game, just play better. And this is the thing. I think that's a massive problem. Instead of identifying, you are blaming the player. Not saying you, I'm talking about the community in general. The community is blaming the player for something that wasn't within their control that is now taking access away from them from premium currency. And they're saying, I know you used to be able to clear this before. HP's gone up, but it's still your fault that you can't clear. When in reality, all other things held equal, it's literally the dev's fault for doing that in the first place. And you want to know the worst part about all of it is HP inflation inherently does nothing to the sweatiest players. You talked a lot about these whole like 1-minute clears, right? These 45-minute clears, all of that sort of stuff. Let's be honest here, right? If you were clearing in 45 seconds, 1 minute right now, you're probably clearing in 30 seconds before. Oh, whoopee! The sweatiest players in the game get to play Shiyu for 15 more seconds. That's their reward, or that's the benefit from them. They get to play Shiyu defense for 15, 20 more seconds, and all it does is it inherently just punishes the players that aren't sweaty and grinding the game. Great, your 30-second clear went to 50, and now you have countless people that are going ahead. They used to be able to clear the end game, and now they can't. What was the intrinsic benefit? Like, what did these sweaty players get out of this HP inflation? Not a lot. All the HP inflation really does is in majority just takes away from people's enjoyment of the game. And honestly, it's just like the whole like blaming the player thing, saying that, oh, it's your fault for being too casual. Oh, it's your fault for having a skill issue. Your fault for not pulling. Great. The sweaty players got to play the Shiyu defense for 15 more fucking seconds. Is that worth just fucking over everybody else that's been playing the game? Like, they're getting so little out of it. And so you have to intrinsically just see it as they're not doing this to make the game better for sweaty players. They're doing this to shill the newest units, sell them, and incentivize people who can't clear to pull the newest fucking unit, go spend some money and do all of that. And so to see all these people going ahead and defending literal greed in the character design, in the balancing, and in the endgame is crazy, to be honest. That's just me. I think it's crazy for people to be blaming the players this much in this circumstance when literally it's all just being done to make the endgame a worse experience for the casual player base. It does nothing at all to the sweats other than give them 15 more seconds during their Shiyu defense runs, and it's clearly all just being done to incentivize pulling on the newest banners. And again, they're blaming the players. Just get better when you're able to clear before.
Oh, you done? Okay, my bad. I was like making sure you were done. Okay, so that's a lot. That's a lot. So I have to say a lot in return.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to get one thing out the way real quick. One of the first things I messaged you on Discord. I am not a Hoyo shill.
Yeah.
And I never will be. I have loyalty to nobody. I've been playing gacha games for 10 years, Saint. And I play the game. I play the genre because I like the genre, right? I have loyalty to nobody.
Yeah.
As if like I told you earlier, you're supposed to never say never to any of these games, including Wuthering Waves and also ZZZ. Any of these games, you never say never to anything because all it takes is one or two big fuck ups for the game to go downhill, right? That's how gacha games work. Any of these games could go downhill at any time. So, like, I want to make sure that people know that I am not a Hoyo shill.
The thing is, I'm not really even referencing you in these situations because I don't even think you've said that sort of stuff. If you feel the need to defend yourself, my apologies. I'm talking about the general community response.
Yeah, but I was just making sure
to the HP inflation thing.
Yeah, I was just making sure that was heard because when I get to my next things, I'm going to say like so people understand where I'm coming from. But yes, I have loyalty to nobody. I play Zenless because I love Zenless and I think that the game is great. If something was to happen in the future that made the game go downhill, then it's quite simple. I'll just be out. It's that simple. I get out. But right now, I know you'll say, well, because HSR players said it before too. Oh, the game was in a dire state back in the day. I understand that. Genuinely, what got me to be where my streams are, where they're at right now. Actually, this is one of the biggest streams I've ever had. Thank you so much for everybody in the stream. But what got me to be able to do this full time, what got me to be able to be in the position that I am, is because of my account review videos. They started popping off on YouTube. And I get comments every single day from the new ones and the old account review videos from months ago. I get comments every single day because I don't know why YouTube just loves keep pushing those things even 2 months after they're uploaded. But I get comments every single day where people say, I'm so glad I found you. I started working on my builds and the game is a lot easier now. And these are from, free to play and low spin players, right? I hear what you're saying. Like if people were barely clearing before, they're not clearing now. That is maybe true. That's not an objective fact, but that maybe be true. I'll say that. But don't you think that a lot of those players, I'm not saying all, because again, I am player. What's the word? Consumer friendly? Is that the word? Is that the term? Consumer friendly?
Yeah, I think most people would say consumer friendly is the term.
Okay, yeah, I'm pro consumer basically, right? I will always say you should always be pro consumer. But what's the meme? Don't defend my $1 billion company. Is that the meme? Yeah. Don't defend my billion or my $1 million company, regardless of which gacha it is. Don't do it. I'm always pro consumer, and yes, I do hear what you're saying. Again, I'm not going to say all the players, but I can promise you at least half of those players, like a good percentage of those players that are no longer clearing. It probably is because they're missing something. It might be their builds. It might be their team composition. They might have the wrong team composition. Like it's a multitude of factors, right? I can't.
Oh, absolutely, right? Because you said it already. There are people clearing in 45 seconds. There are people clearing in 30 seconds. And so if people are taking 2 minutes and 30 or whatever, clearly there's something missing. And this is the thing, right? Inherently, I think I've already gone over like the outline of it HP inflation is not impacting the sweaty players at all. At minimum, at most, the only benefit they're getting is 15 more seconds on their Shiyu defense run to play the game. It is only taking away from people, if we're being entirely honest about it. And so, I'm going to be real here, right? With the whole, like, I'm very pro-consumer take, I don't think there's any take to have. If you're genuinely pro-consumer, I don't think there's any way to think about it other than HP inflation is bad. If that's how we're analyzing the pros and cons of HP inflation, the sweaty player gets to play for 15 more seconds. And all of these other players only get punished by it. Isn't that inherently just like there's no other way if you're pro-consumer other than to just be adamantly against it, right?
Oh, well,
And again, I'm not trying to like frame your words in like any way. You just said pro-consumer.
I am.
But then you did also, in that same sentence, blame the player as well by saying there's something wrong with what they're doing if they can't clear anymore. When in the reality, if the company never just did this HP inflation, they would never have this problem. And so the company creates a problem, but you're saying there's something wrong with the consumer.
No. I said there may be something wrong, right?
Okay.
I would have to see for myself.
There might be something wrong with the player. Okay.
I have to see for myself because again, it could they maybe they are doing everything right. Maybe like but like I never wanted to say like it 100% is their fault, right?
Mm-hmm.
It may be something wrong.
Okay.
That's why I do so many account reviews. That's why I try to help as many people as I can. Do you use Inca? Do you know the website Inca?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. That's where people put up their cards,
yeah,
right?
I do Inca all the time on my streams to get more people because like there's a very long line for account reviews. So I do Inca to help just see build quickly, like without having to actually log in case like you're way down the line of me going to log into your account. And I think it's more so because like I've just seen so many, and you probably do account reviews too, right?
Yeah.
I think it's more so because I have personally I've seen so many. And before I started doing Zenless and not before I started doing Zenless, like before I started streaming more and like helping people, my content was strictly guides and strictly just talking about the future of the game. That's what my content used to be before I started streaming more. And then I started streaming and I started helping people. Before I started streaming, I used to think that I had a good idea of what the average account looked like for free to play and low spin. But now I really do have a good idea. And I can't tell you the countless amount of times I've been on someone's account and they were just doing so many things like wrong, right? And they just didn't know. They just genuinely didn't know. And maybe that's part of the game's fault for not teaching as much. Maybe that's on the content creators for not showing all the stuff, or maybe they just didn't find the information in time. But a lot of these people just I don't know why they don't know, but a lot of the times it's a knowledge thing. You know where I'm coming from? Like a lot of the times, like a lot of players they just don't know. And then once you tell them and once you show them, they're like, "Oh my god, I've been doing that wrong this entire time. Now that I know what to do, it's significantly easier."
I totally get that, but this is the thing, right?
And I know. HP inflation, bad. Look, if the
devs never did this stuff in the first place, they wouldn't need to be reaching out, putting in more effort than they already have to put in these clears. And again, if the devs are forcing you to do something that makes you spend more time playing the game, spending more time, in a way forced to engage with the game, then in my opinion, that's inherently consumer unfriendly, right? Like, what if a dev just decided to put in, like, oh, to do your dailies, you now have to, like, auto walk in place for 30 additional seconds. it's like, yeah, that's not like a huge expenditure, but that's inherently player unfriendly. And similarly, I know this is going to sound weird, but if you want to be able to get these asteroid rewards, we're forcing you to play the game more. That's inherently player unfriendly. And if playing the game more involves you having to like crisp up your rotations, grind more, do all of that stuff, they're inherently trying to get you to spend more time. Time is a resource. They're making you pay more to clear all this content that you used to be able to do. And that's the point. If you used to be able to do it, and now you have to spend more time, spend a resource in some way to be able to clear it, that is consumer unfriendly. And the thing is that there's a certain degree of it that could be considered okay, but the game is going, in my opinion, way too far, way too quickly. And when it's clearly being shilled in a way, which again is focusing on the pulling of new characters who simply do more damage, right? We even have people in this chat saying endgame shouldn't be a free clear. Yeah, it wasn't a free clear in 1.0. It wasn't a free clear in 1.3. But the HP has been close to doubling ever since those times. And so it wasn't a free clear when people were doing it before. And so people saying that, oh, no HP inflation means free clear is just simply a faulty argument. Then again, you know, we have to think about the members of this community that are saying that. I am in the ZZZ category right now. You end up with a lot of dummies. And so, yeah, this is the thing. When people are using arguments like that inherently, just to go ahead, oh, people want to put in no effort and get all the rewards. People were putting in effort before, getting the rewards. HP went up. Now they have to put in more effort that they didn't have to before. Some say that's good. It's inherently consumer unfriendly. Think about anything you do in your life. The Keurig. They come out with a new Keurig that takes 30 more seconds to brew your coffee. That's consumer unfriendly. Anything. Imagine anything by any corporation where now you have to spend more time to get the product or get the service. You would call it consumer unfriendly. And now because you're saying, oh, because it's a game, suddenly it's consumer friendly to do that, it's just not true. And I guess like this is the thing. I feel like we have to a degree like kind of like gone around in circles a little bit, but I feel like there's this like a kind of like a good point to land on. I think we might as well get close to like wrapping this up. Like let me just look at the call duration over here. It's been quite a minute. Yeah, it's been close to like it's been like an hour and 20, hour 40 at this point.
Mm-hmm. It has.
I think the fact of the, I think we should just get like some facts of the matter straight. Is that ZZZ has seen an obscene amount of HP inflation. I can agree that a fair amount of it was actually okay. Specifically, from when it started out really, really, really low. Like they lowered the HP from 1.0 and then proceeded to raise it back up to a decent degree in 1.3. And then when we're going ahead and we're continuing to raise it more and more, and then also in the same vein, releasing characters that do more damage than everybody else, that becomes a very developer greed, publisher greed focused issue for a lot of players. And to see the overwhelming response of the community, in my opinion, that is just blindly defending this clear expression of greed, where they're preying on people that either don't have the time to play Sweaty, don't want to invest that much time, and they kind of like let them taste the gold. They let them taste the honey. Ooh, I was able to clear Shiyu defense way back in the past, but now it's like way too hard. But if I pull this newest unit, now it's like super easy for me to clear. You can clearly tell there's no benefit to anybody with the HP inflation going up, other than Hoyoverse, other than the publisher, other than the people creating these banners for you to pull on. That's the only thing that HP inflation does. Because, like we just mentioned before, oh great, now again in HSR, great, now my HSR team that 0 cycled now takes 1.5 cycles. Oh my gosh, right? Like, it does nothing for them. It does nothing for those hardcore HSR players to have the inflation. All it did was sell the newest units and then fuck over a good part of the community. In ZZZ, they get to play Shiyu defense for 15, 30 more seconds, and it just fucks over the rest of the community. And to use the argument, oh, I can still clear with X units, I can still clear with Y units, it's the same exact thing that HSR players said when the game went to shit. Just like how Genshin players right now are still saying, oh, I can still clear with international, so there's no power creep. And that's kind of like where I just want to like end my opinion, end my take. Because inherently, HP inflation as a whole can be nothing except consumer unfriendly. And I think I think just universally as a take, there's no other way to view it. You can try to convince me otherwise, but unless your HP inflation is literally in response to HP deflation or a universal increase in the game's damage, like let's just say, sure, okay to have HP inflation after you do something like single ultimate for every character, right? That's pretty reasonable because damage in every team went up across the board. But anything beyond that, you release new characters that deal more damage, and then you HP inflate because of that, that's consumer unfriendly. You decided to release that new character. And so, yeah, I guess I'm just going to go in with the take of any sort of HP inflation beyond like some of those like systems changes that we talked about or countering deflation. I think it's just going to be consumer unfriendly. And to see so many people in this community defend what is inherently consumer unfriendly, to me is just, you know, it's gotten a little bit ridiculous at this point. So yeah, that'll just be like my final take on it. You got anything else to say?
Just make sure that, yeah, it has been a while. We have been on this call for a minute.
Yeah,
it has been. But just know that I do agree that to a certain extent, there is some power creep in ZZZ, and I do agree that HP has gone up. I do agree with that. But right now, I believe in the devs because, like I told you, I have no loyalty to anybody, right?
Yeah.
The devs, because they have come out and they have said that they're going to address this and not have it go unchecked, I believe in them. So if they come out in the future and they do the complete opposite, well, now they lost me, right? They completely lost me because now they done lied because they said that they would make sure everything goes unchecked, right? There's some more things I was gonna get into, but yeah, you're right. This call has been going on for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we got most things in there.
Yeah. I just want to take a second to appreciate you for the time. I feel like maybe in the future we could, you know, if we ever do have a conversation like this again, we can have a bit more of like a structured agenda of all the things that we want to hit on, because I think we did spend quite a bit too long maybe talking about the same stuff multiple times, and I wasn't sure because, again, like for all disclosure, right? You requested the call, and so I guess it's like it is to a degree like up to you where the conversation goes. Being the person that requested it. So yeah, if we have like a bit more of like an agenda in the future, we could you know, definitely make sure we hit on the main points and know when to like cut stuff off.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. No, but we chill, we good?
Yeah, we're good, man. I mean, this is the thing. A lot of this stuff that I'm talking about, this isn't me like venting at you at all. It's me venting at like the overarching community and a lot of the dumbasses that I've seen that I just spawned in my chat.
Now, let's be real. The gacha community has a very large vocal minority when it comes to online.
Yeah.
I also get people in my chat who I can tell don't like me. But I don't think that the ZZZ community as a whole is stupid. I don't think the ZZZ community as a whole, to be honest with you, ZZZ community has been the most chill gacha community I've ever been in so far. Genuine, I'm not, and it's not me glazing the game, it's just honest truth. I've played a shit ton of gacha games. I think there might only be one gacha that I can remember that was more chill than ZZZ. And it was Azure Lane, but that's because everybody was too busy gooning. No, there was nothing to not be chill about in that game.
The way that I view ZZZ is it's split up into gooners and elitists. And I think that if you're somebody that's in the business of like repairing accounts, doing account reviews, and then like teaching people things, you're naturally attracting more of the gooners and less of the elitists. Because why would elitists go to somebody? And I'm not saying this as an insult to you. I feel like you're naturally going to attract less elitists because you're like teaching people things and giving advice, which elitists inherently don't need because they spend 16 hours playing this fucking game a day like losers. And this is the thing, you don't count in that because you're getting paid to do it. They're not. They're doing it for free from their mother's basement. There's a big difference, right? So yeah, I think that's kind of like the split. I end up getting all the elitists. I feel like you get the gooners.
You can be a gooner without living in your mother's basement, though.
Oh no, I'm saying that I'm talking about the elitists playing for 16 hours. Those are the ones in the basement. Gooners can be anybody. You probably get the guy that like works like 8 hours a day and then plays ZZZ for like 30 minutes. I get the guy that plays this game like a job, but he's not getting paid.
I see. Well, okay, Saint. Appreciate the talk, man. I feel like we're gonna cross paths again in the future. More than willing to. No problem. Yeah. Anything else? I think we're good.
I think we're good, man. Appreciate the chat.
Yeah. I promised to. I think I kept my promise. Keep it chill.
Yeah, we did.
I kept my promise. I don't think I ever raised my voice once. I don't think you. I think we were chill.
Yeah, no, I think we are chill. Yeah, this is typically how conversations, how calls go.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
All right, yeah, don't worry about it, man. This has been one of the better chats that I've had in the past about gacha games and their end games.
Yep. But okay, man.
All right,
I'm gonna let you go.
Talk to you later, dude.